A developing story that we're following at this hour. Police are asking for your help to find two suspects involved in a series of robberies. Police say these two moped riders struck 8 times in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. In each case, the victims had necklaces ripped from their necks, and the suspects got away on a black moped. In total, police say they took thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers 1-800-577-TIPS. Activists gathered outside of City Hall today calling for an end to homeless sweeps. They have described these sweeps as being done by the NYPD and the Sanitation Department as cruel and inhumane. Activists say the belongings from the homeless, including medication and warm clothing, are being seized and sometimes destroyed. They cited recent data which points to thousands of sweeps taking place, and they claim none of the homeless are being offered permanent housing.
I've heard from other street homeless people who say that administration after administration had the same problem with the street homeless. Still, nothing gets done. Okay? It's time for something to get done.
Well, we reached out to the city, but we haven't yet heard back. Activists say they are pleased that Mayor-elect Mamdani has addressed making housing crisis a big priority. Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso announcing that he is running for Congress. Reynoso making the announcement this morning via an ad campaign. He is running to represent New York's 7th congressional district. That encompasses parts of Brooklyn and Queens. It's currently represented by Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, who has announced that she's not seeking re-election next year. All right, next at noon, lawmakers in D.C. demanding answers from the Pentagon today. Why they want those answers about the Venezuelan boat strikes and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's use of the Signal app. Plus, we're going to take you to a World Cup summit in the nation's capital, where officials are laying out their plans to make the global event a success. Developing news, the pressure is on to make a deal between Ukraine and Russia to end the war. Special envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner meeting with high-level Ukrainian delegation today. It's following a 5-hour-long meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Tuesday. However, on Wednesday, Putin said he rejected parts of the American proposal, and a Kremlin official claimed Russia isn't likely to compromise because it has the upper hand on the front lines. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky insisting the peace process is moving forward, even as fighting escalates in eastern Ukraine. Top Pentagon officials are under scrutiny today after a watchdog report revealed the Secretary of War could have put troops in harm's way earlier this year. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the details.
Remember when a journalist was accidentally added to a private group chat with top Trump officials back in March? Those leaked messages revealed War Secretary Pete Hegseth shared sensitive attack plans with other cabinet members and his wife through the messaging app Signal. A Pentagon inspector general launched an investigation and found Hegseth, quote, created risks to operational security, and his actions could have resulted in failed U.S. mission objectives and potential harm to U.S. pilots.
So it's confirming what we already knew. I mean, that was so idiotic, right?
But the Pentagon has a different take, saying the report is a total exoneration of Hegseth and proves no classified information was shared. But this isn't the only mission being scrutinized by lawmakers. They have questions about recent airstrikes on alleged drug smugglers in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. And Thursday, the Navy admiral leading the operation is briefing lawmakers behind closed doors on his orders to fire a second strike on a sinking boat, killing 2 survivors of the initial strike.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have 2 individuals in clear distress who were killed by the United States.
The fundamental question is the country safer than it was under the Biden administration? I think the answer to that is unequivocally yes.
President Trump is supporting his War Department on these strikes, and the Pentagon says they will continue. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A bipartisan group of representatives came together on Capitol Hill this morning to unveil the framework for Common Ground 2025, which would extend health insurance premium savings for American families. This is bipartisan legislation that is led by Republican Congresswoman Jen Kiggans of Virginia and Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey. The framework includes an extension of health insurance premium savings for American families with targeted modifications to help ensure that families can still get the help that they need. It is paid for and it takes steps to ensure that Congress roots out fraud.
As part of our plan, we'll also work together on a menu of longer-term reforms to help families continue to save on their premiums. Having access to health care can literally mean the difference, as you know, between life and death. The House and Senate must work together to see this through. Time is ticking. Time's not on our side. But we know that if we work together, and we'll sit down with anybody, the president, our leadership, anybody you want, we'll sit down with to get something done. Because if we work together and lower costs, we know that our families' lives will be better.
They are calling for a vote by December the 18th in both chambers of Congress to get this legislation passed before premiums rise in January. Well, we're less than a year away from the FIFA World Cup, and tomorrow, all eyes will be on the draw, which you can watch right here on Fox 5. So today, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy hosted the World Cup Summit in Washington, D.C. He says his department has partnered with Homeland Security to make sure that fans and everybody involved in the event are safe. Duffy also said that steps are being taken to make sure that everything goes smoothly with your roads, your rails, as well as up in the air. He says the FAA has been working on a plan so things are seamless for national and international travelers.
And so it just doesn't happen by us, making it an afterthought. We've been thinking about this for over a year. How do we make these games great? How do we showcase America to showcase then the World Cup?
So Duffy says work is being done on preparing the tracks and making sure there are enough train cars so that commuters will have a smooth ride. He also says that extra assets are being brought in to get the fans from the hotels to the venues. And you should remember that Fox 5 is your home for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You should look for updates and features leading up to the big event next summer. And tune in tomorrow for the World Cup draw kicking off at 11:30 tomorrow morning with pre-show coverage. Very exciting. All right, let's turn now to the forecast to see what is in store for us. It seems like dropping temps are in store for us. Let's bring in Liv Johnson. She is at our Weather Center with more. Hey, Liv.
Hey, Teresa. Yeah, we are not even going to get out of the 30s today, you guys, and that's without even considering the wind chill. So we only get to a high of 39, subtract 5 to 10 degrees for what it's going to feel like throughout our afternoon. Some of us crack 40. We see 41 out east on Long Island. Down the shore in New Jersey, we have 40 for Newark and Trenton. But again, the feel like temperature temperature is going to be more like 30 to 35. Monticello has a high of 29 today. Up in the Hudson Valley, a high of 38 for Poughkeepsie, and it gets colder from here on out. Tomorrow, we are going to be below freezing the entire day. Our high is 31, 32 degrees. Of course, add the wind chill, most of the day is going to feel like the 20s, so really bundle up tomorrow. Saturday, we still stay in the 30s too. A look at your weekend, just a high of 38. Sunday, we warm up a little. It will feel a lot better than Friday, but just to a high of 43. But we're not alone by any means, right? If you look up at Albany, 35. Look at Buffalo right now is 22. Go further into the Midwest, of course, this is where we're getting some of that colder air from. Detroit, 21. Chicago, 14. Up in Green Bay, just 8 degrees right now. So we're going to be mainly dry for the next few days. But we do kind of have an interesting situation. We've seen some flurries so far this morning in some parts of the tri-state area, nothing that accumulates. High pressure comes in to protect us for a little bit. Friday night, a very small chance that we could see some precipitation, whether that's in the form of a couple raindrops or a couple snowflakes. It's mainly going to be in the south, maybe southern half of New Jersey sees a little. And then there's a potential going into Saturday morning that the front that you see above us brings some snowflakes for some parts of the area as well, but nothing it's not like a weekend storm or anything that you really need to be concerned about. Then you can see going into next week, we have a chance of some rain and snow again. Lows tonight, 21 in New York. We're in the teens for a lot of New Jersey. Newark, 19, Trenton, 17, single digits up in the Hudson Valley, and Monticello just 6 for Poughkeepsie, 3 for Monticello, and 8. And then tomorrow, really cool day. Teresa, just highs barely in the low 30s and some of us in the 20s.
'Tis the season. All right, Liv, thanks so much. Next at noon, a crucial vote by a CDC panel today that could mark a major change for infant health. Details on the vaccine recommendations that the panel could pull back on and how the medical community is already responding.
Law firm.
We're monitoring developing health news right now as a federal vaccine advisory committee is meeting to discuss whether newborns should still receive the Hep B vaccine. Current guidelines suggest all babies get the vaccine on the day that they're born. It protects against liver infection and liver cancer. But Health Secretary RFK Jr. is expected to change that recommendation. The committee could vote this afternoon to remove the birth dose recommendation on or delay vaccination to a later age. Now, despite what the committee decides, the American Academy of Pediatrics says it will still urge the dose at birth. The flu appears to be spreading rapidly across the country. New CDC data showing a 5% increase in just the last week, with a few places experiencing an even bigger increase, including right here in the city, which the CDC says now has a moderate flu activity level. Most states experiencing low or minimal flu activity right now, but recent data is still trending upwards. Doctors are urging people to get the flu shot and to stay home or wear a mask if you're sick. A major Ritz cracker recall to warn you about. Cases of the popular snack are being recalled due to incorrect labeling. So they're labeled as cheese, but instead they actually contain peanut butter. This is a big deal. People with peanut allergies could suffer life-threatening or serious allergic reactions by eating this product. The affected Ritz sandwiches were sold in stores in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and 5 other states. They have a best when used by date from January 8th through January 15th, 2026. Delta Airlines saying the government shutdown cost it about $200 million. The airline CEO blamed the loss on all of the revenues refunds that were issued during that period and the drop in bookings. The 43-day shutdown causing ongoing delays and cancellations at major airports as unpaid air traffic controllers missed work. Many were forced to find second jobs during that period of time. Did you know what today is? It is Cookie Monster's favorite day. National Cookie Day. Many businesses offering special deals today, including Dairy Queen, giving away a free mini frosted sugar cookie blizzard with the purchase of some meals. Insomnia Cookies giving away the first 100 loyalty program members who visit a location a free Snowball Classic cookie. And Dunkin' is giving reward members 3 times the points when they order any espresso beverage. Very cool. That's a day I can get behind. Next at noon, how does a personal shopper in the palm of your hand sound? AI is the new holiday gifting hack more and more customers are using. How it could help reduce your shopping stress this season. And later at noon, we're going to talk with an expert who predicts Latino consumers may actually keep the city holiday economy afloat.
Jobs are available with the City of New York today. Get connected to career opportunities as a teacher, school nurse, correction officer, taxi inspector, and more. Whether you're starting out or looking for a change, there's a place for you with the City of New York. Start right now at deliveringforyou.nyc or call 212-386-5000. Hiring professionals are waiting to help.
Work with NYC is where you're meant to be. Hey.
Deliveringforyou.nyc.
12:30 now. Welcome back to the Noon. We've got a lot more coming up here. Latino consumers are a rapidly growing group, and they could have a big impact on New York's economy this holiday shopping season. We're going to crunch the numbers with a business expert. Plus, have you ever had Japanese comfort food? We're trying some treats from Bisou Snack Shop. But first, let's get a live look outside, where, as we understand it, the temps are dropping. I don't know if it's officially winter. Liv Johnson, let's bring you in. You're at the Weather Center. Are we officially at winter yet?
So meteorological winter started December 1st, but the official start to winter is technically December 21st.
Okay, so we're in the in-between.
We're in the in-between, but it does not feel like it, does it?
No, not at all.
No, we are settling into winter temperatures today, especially, and we have lots of cloud cover, so the sun is barely helping us this afternoon. Arctic blast on the way because, yes, it's going to get even colder than it is right now. Small snow chances as we go into the weekend. I know I've mentioned throughout the show that we've already seen some flurries in some areas this morning, but nothing that's accumulated, and cold weather hangs in there. Next week is also looking very cold. So let's get back to those feel-like temperatures. It feels like 30 in New York, feels like 20 when we go up north to Monticello, 32 for Poughkeepsie. So most of us, yes, feel below freezing. White Plains feels like 27, Long Island feels like 32, and that's due in part to these wind gusts. We have 33-mile-per-hour wind gusts in New York City. Getting a break right now out on Long Island, up in Hartford, but still breezy consistently. We have 26-mile-per-hour wind speeds or wind gusts for Monticello, 30 for Trent. It's going to stick around this entire afternoon. Going to be very, very chilly evening. Tomorrow, at least we get a little bit of relief when it comes to wind speeds, but as I said, it's going to be even colder. So cold front moving through, that also is what brought us a little bit of action. And then we looked at this in the last weather hit. High pressure is going to come and protect us for just a little bit, but then this system travels up north, gets a lot colder as it reaches our temperatures, and that's why we could see some flurries, probably southern New Jersey, a little bit out on Long Island, and then even some rainfall going into Saturday morning. So let's track out what we have for the rest of the night. As I said, it gets really, really cold as we get into the evening. By 5 o'clock, we're down to 14 for Monticello. We're below freezing in New York. We're 29 for Newark. Of course, add in that feel-like temperature with the wind gusts. By 11 p.m., we've dropped down to single-digit temperatures for Monticello. You can see the same thing over in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and most of us are dropping down into the teens by that point. When you wake up tomorrow morning for work, really layer up because we're just going to be barely cracking into the 20s. And we're still in single digits for parts of the Hudson Valley, like Poughkeepsie, 7 degrees at 7 a.m., 2 degrees for Monticello tomorrow morning, and we're in the teens throughout Connecticut, pretty much throughout Long Island as well. We barely get up into the 30s tomorrow. So as I was talking about with the chances of precipitation, here's that system that's approaching us from the south, and why I said we could see a couple flurries tomorrow evening in parts of Long Island, down the Jersey Shore, going into Saturday morning as well. But really, I wouldn't let it deter you from making any plans. I mean, I don't think you want to be outside anyway, but it's a really small chance. The best chance that we have of seeing a little bit more rainfall is out on Long Island, but you can see throughout the rest of the tri-state area, barely anything, and same with any future snowfall that we have from Friday night to Saturday morning. It's barely a trace. So remember those lows tonight, well below freezing, single digits for a lot of us. Highs tomorrow, barely into the 30s. It's going to feel well below freezing. We're just in the 20s for Hartford, Poughkeepsie, and Monticello tomorrow. We don't really have much relief in sight. I mean, Saturday gets up to 38, Sunday back into the 40s, but barely. And then we start next week in the 30s. And then another snow threat Tuesday evening. Teresa?
Liv, I'm looking at those numbers and I'm thinking to myself, this is a prime time to just sit on your couch and shop. And
yes,
I understand.
Online shop.
Yes, and I understand that you've actually been looking into how people are doing with their holiday shopping this year. What have you been able to find out?
Okay, so the amount that people are using AI, I mean, we know it's become more and more popular, but now people are using it to kind of hack the system, find the best deals, and it's a new way of shopping. Finding that perfect Christmas gift for a loved one can be overwhelming. You scour the internet for the best ideas, the right sizes, something that ships in time. The list goes on and on. Well, now add this dilemma to the list of things that AI is being used for.
Consumers are using them just to ask everyday questions, so it's only perfectly natural that they would turn to them for shopping.
Harris Poll conducted a survey for MasterCard that shows 42% of shoppers are already using AI tools to help them shop. In fact, 50% of Gen Zers and 49% of millennials say they'd let AI handle all of their gift buying to avoid stress.
It's just fast. I mean, whatever you're asking, in 30 seconds you have an answer, and you can go deeper and find out more.
I just used AI to help me with my holiday gift items. It did it like in under a minute. It was amazing.
But these AI tools may be benefiting e-commerce giants like Amazon and Walmart over smaller retailers. According to Apptopia, Amazon's share of ChatGPT referrals grew to 54%, up from about 40% last year, and Walmart's share rose to almost 15%. Meanwhile, Google rolled out an AI feature called Let Google Call, which users can direct to call local stores to ask about products.
What's very interesting about the way we research this year is that it's changing. We are using those tools that we've always used, but now we're using AI as well.
Trey Bodge is a smart shopping expert and lifestyle journalist who tests products and creates some of those gift idea articles you might read during the holidays. So you might think AI chatbots and ChatGPT will harm her business. But Bodge says she's not too worried and even uses this technology herself.
I am hoping that people still come to me, of course, and other experts like me who are trying and testing products, but AI is a really good tool if you're not sure what to buy someone and that person has very niche interests.
Some shoppers are still against it.
A lot of it comes down to just how much water and energy the AI uses. I feel like it makes it special if it comes from the heart, something to show you understand your friend, if you get something that they'll like.
But data shows this opinion is the minority. Adobe reports AI-generated traffic to retail sites jumped 805% year over year. And shoppers who got to a site from an AI assistant were 38% more likely to buy. Software company Salesforce estimates that AI will influence $73 billion and almost a quarter of all global sales during Cyber Week. So whether you use AI or you don't, it looks like the way we shop is continuing to change, and AI will now be a part of it.
I would just say that nothing replaces truly knowing someone and getting them the right thing. So I think that AI can act like it knows someone or act like it really gets it, but it's not human.
Yeah, there's nothing like the thoughtfulness behind a gift, but a lot of people just want to bypass that search bar.
I was telling you, I actually use AI to search, and I've been really leaning in heavy this Christmas, this holiday season. I'll go in and say, give me the top 5 items, whatever it is. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Well, and you can just find, you can describe the person that you're buying for, the deals you want, and get kind of as personal as you can get with a computer. But, yeah.
It also makes somebody like the ultimate gift giver.
Yeah.
When people say, oh, you're a great gift giver, you don't have to tell them that you used AI. You can just say thank you, right?
Well, and it's like, you have 4 kids.
3.
I mean, 3.
We're
Sorry.
3 right now. Yeah, no more.
You have 3 kids. And it's like hard to organize all that and find the deals
100%.
And where they're available. It's
it is my friend, and I am sticking to it. Liv, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, as local retailers brace for the holiday season, new economic data shows a very different story inside of New York's fastest growing consumer group. Next at noon, we're going to examine Latino consumers and how they may keep the city's holiday economy afloat. And then later at noon, Beso, I hope I'm saying that right, snack shop, here to give us a taste of their savory Japanese grilled rice balls.
quits.
Well, with many households expected to cut back on spending this holiday season due to tariffs, inflation, new economic data from the Latino Donor Collaborative shows a very different story that is occurring inside New York's fastest growing consumer group, Latino consumers. Could they actually be what keeps the city's holiday economy afloat this year? Joining us today is one of the country's leading voices on U.S. Latino economic trends, Ana Valdez. She is president and CEO of the Latino Donor Collective. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate
for having
it.
Me, Teresa. Very excited.
You're very excited. Okay, so let's first of all talk about the study that you guys conducted and what that means in the context of New York City.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, what we measure, and we started measuring 8 years ago, was the GDP that Latinos are producing, right? Because that way you see, are they really, Latinos are here to give or to take? And the truth is that Latinos are here to give a lot to the economy. Most of the growth of the economy comes from Latinos because of different reasons. One is age. Latinos are much younger. The average age is 31 versus the non-Latino, which is 41. The second one is not only the age, but birth rate. So Latinos in general are 20% of the population in the country, but they are 30% of the births. So imagine the growth in demographics. But more importantly, and in terms of New York, what the purchasing power, their economic mobility, their educational graduation that is growing so much faster than other communities, and then of course the values, right? I'm going to give you an example. The GDP, in the growth of the GDP of New York, 43% of the growth is coming from Latinos.
Wow.
So you see this generation, especially this generation is first and second. After the big wave of immigration last century, this century, most Latinos are actually born here. 80% of young Latinos are born here. So they have all the tools of, their parents having been immigrants. They've seen their parents struggle. They've seen their parents, fighting for a better life for them. They've seen their parents saving, but at the same time, they're much savvier, if you may, because they were born here, they're American, they know the market, and they know how to make money more.
How does that go hand in hand with the quality of the job that they're getting, the income rising? I mean, because you have to make money in order to spend money.
Absolutely. So that's another thing. They have a commitment to make money, not only because they're very ambitious, but because they need to make sure that the sacrifices of their parents are worth it. And so they're very motivated to succeed. To start with, educationally, right, they are much more capable of creating wealth, right? So that's important. They also are very savvy in terms of investments because their parents sometimes didn't even have a bank account. This time around, they are getting banking, they are getting experience in how to spend their money wiser. They know brands, they compare what brands are doing. They are very watchful of advertising. So they're saying, well, this brand is really considering me as part of their consumer. Do I feel reflected into those advertising, campaigns that they're putting out? And so it's interesting. They're very different from their parents. Their parents, and I consider myself that generation of parents, were very loyal with brands.
Right, of course.
They are not.
Yes.
They are more picky. But
that's selective. A generational thing, I think, across race and gender, right?
You're right. The thing is, we parents were very low, like in more, in more abundance than others. But you're right. And then this upward mobility is reflecting not only in the market, but it's also reflecting in the way they buy. I have a friend that is a real estate agent, and she always talks about how, when you sell a house to a Latino, you have the whole family coming and see the houses, right? Like it's the grandmother. So
you're right. That's reflected in the numbers. Ana, thank you so much. Happy holidays to you. We appreciate you sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, and that's Ana Valdez, president and CEO of the Latino Donor Collective. We've got a lot more on the noon straight ahead. Stay with us. Back after. right, let's check in with some of your entertainment headlines. Scarlett Johansson reportedly in talks to join the cast of Batman Part 2, the actress in final negotiations to join the upcoming sequel to 2021's The Batman. According to The Hollywood Reporter, however, it's unclear which role she'd be up for. Fans are speculating that she could play one of the villains, Phantasm or Poison Ivy. Johansson is no stranger to being a superhero. She has starred as Black Widow, as you well know, in multiple Marvel films. The Batman Part 2 is expected to start filming next year. Fans of HBO's Euphoria have waited more than 4 years for Season 3 of the show, and now we know that the wait is almost over. Season 3, and likely the final season of Euphoria, set to premiere on HBO in April. The series stars Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, and many, many more. It follows a group of teenagers navigating an intense world of drug addiction, sex, crime, and betrayal. Emily is now in Rome in the upcoming 5th season of Emily in Paris.
Keep your attention on Muratore. The business, not the man.
We want to make sure it's something that people can connect with.
Nothing excited me.
This season, Emily's on a mission to open a new agency in Rome, but faces professional and romantic challenges as she adapts to life in a new city. Lily Collins returns to star alongside Ashley Park, Lucas Bravo, Sam Arnold, and many more. Season 5 of Emily in Paris premieres on Netflix December the 18th. Well, it is where Japanese comfort food meets New York's iconic bodega culture in Bryant Park. Next at noon, we are giving you a taste of Bissau Snack Shop, their grilled rice balls. Stay with us.
Now.
New York's iconic bodega culture at Bissau Snack Shop in Bryant Park. It is inspired by the spirit of the New York City bodega. The Bissau Snack Shop kiosk reimagines corner store favorites with a savory Japanese twist. Joining us now is the chef and owner of Bissau, Maiko Kyoku, and we have some stuff. I'm going to learn to cook today, apparently. Thank you for being with us, Maiko. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
So first of all, tell us a little bit about this. You're going to make, how do you say grilled rice balls?
Onigiri.
Yaki onigiri.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Rice balls is easier for me to say. So what are we doing today? Tell us a little bit about this.
This is our Japanese bodega concept at Bryant Park. Besso serves Japanese home cooking, but we do some popcorn as well. We started doing popcorn last year, and at Bryant Park, we're doing this comfort dish called yaki onigiri.
And it's all about the
rice
fusion,
balls.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Japanese New Yorker, so I grew up here, but I also grew up eating Japanese food, so this is kind of a twist of both New York and Japanese cuisine. Today
we're doing two, right? One is miso salmon, which is quintessentially
it's
Japanese.
like a traditional Japanese miso and salmon.
But the other one is not.
The other one's not. So we're going to start with the non-traditional one. So this is our chopped cheese, and we have like a special cheesy sauce here. We've made this chopped beef with miso sauce that we make in-house here.
So chopped cheese, for those who are like, wait a second, did I hear chopped cheese? Yes, chopped cheese is a quintessential bodega staple.
I also didn't grow up eating chopped cheese, but since I have tried it, I eat it all the time. It's kind of like a burger sandwich, and it's delicious.
Yeah, it's like a grilled, it's like a cheeseburger.
Right, exactly. So
okay, so what did you do? You took bowls of rice, right?
Right.
And molded them together.
Exactly. So we make it into a triangular patty, and Japanese rice balls are usually this shape. It's like a cute triangle shape.
Is there anything else that's inside of it, or is it literally just rice that's patted together?
Usually it's inside, but we're going to put all the filling on top.
Oh, okay, which means this is going to be messy to eat, but that's okay. All right, so we have our rice that you have cooked in some sort of oil here, right?
Exactly. Well, this is actually butter, so it's like has a nice
butter, my favorite. Okay.
Nice creamy flavor on the outside, and we're going to put some of this.
And what is in the beef?
This is like beef that's sauteed with a little onion, a little miso spread that we make in-house.
Oh,
and it has like a sweet, savory.
So this is the miso spread here?
Exactly.
It smells delicious.
The cheese
and then what's
sauce,
in the cheese?
The cheese sauce has a little bit of pickled jalapenos today.
And it looks like just queso.
Are you okay with
oh, yeah, let's do it.
A little spice?
Sure.
Okay. And I recommend putting our chili oil on top.
Okay.
It gives it like...
This is lunch. All right, so I'm going to try this one in a minute, and then you're going to make another one as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to try to make it? Can I attempt it?
Do you want to try? Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't cook, but we can pretend, right? All right, so this needs to be flipped over, or are we good?
I think it's good.
All right, so we take this, we put this in. Can people make something like this at home? I mean, we want them to come to see you,
They
of course.
can definitely make it at home, especially with a few ingredients. You can make anything kind of more Japanese. We have here...
And what do we put on top of this?
Oh, so we're going to put this miso spread that we make in-house.
Fantastic.
Like the rice is made with kayanoya dashi, so that's actually this packet there.
What is that?
Dashi is like a stock. So think about like chicken stock, but this is in powdered form. It's in little pouches. You add it to hot water, and it.
All right, so we've only got a few minutes left. Sure. Which one should I try?
I think you should try the miso salmon.
Miso salmon, not chopped cheese. Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, you could.
No, you know what? I'm going to go for the chopped cheese because it's quintessentially New York. I'll take this one here. All right. Tell everybody where they can find you.
So we are at Pier 57 all year. We're at Bryant Park till January 4th, and we'll be at JFK Terminal 4 next year.
Thank you so much. This is so fun. Back after this. This morning, Port Authority linked up with the Jersey City Board of Education to unveil the winners of the 36th annual Path Holiday Poster Contest. It's where 3 categories, kindergarten through 2nd, 3rd through 5th, and 6th through 8th grade. The theme of this year's contest is unity. The winning posters will be displayed in Path stations system-wide throughout the end of January. And that's it. That does it for us for today. But before we go, here is one last thing to leave you with. A new list reveals the names of popular people and places commonly mispronounced this year. No surprise to see Mayor-elect Zoran Mondani near the top of that list. Mondani famously corrected Andrew Cuomo's pronunciation in a debate moment that went viral earlier this year. Also on the list, the Louvre Museum, a name on a lot of people's lists after that jewelry heist. The language learning company Babbel and the captioning group compiled this list. All right, we will see you back here tomorrow. 25 words or less is next. And if you want more news, you should turn into the Fox Local app. It is streaming right now. Have a great day, everybody.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And welcome to Newsroom Live, everybody. It is about 1:02 Eastern Standard Time. You are looking at a gorgeous shot right now of the Rockefeller Christmas tree. It was officially lit last night. 50,000 lights on that beauty. And then the Swarovski crystal star, which is on the very top. This kicks off the official holiday season here in New York City. The tree is 75 feet tall. It's a Norway spruce, and it's from all the way up, way up in upstate New York. And thank goodness they donated this tree. Every year they have a gorgeous tree. There's never a problem. But anyway, welcome to Newsroom Live. We can go ahead and take me now, Suzanne. I'm Linda Schmidt. I'm your host for today. We're going to be live with you for the next hour, and we're going to be bringing you the top stories, not just locally, but nationally and internationally as well. Now, a story that is major news here in New York City. Luigi Mangione, he's the 27-year-old who has been accused, and he is currently being held, accused of not only stalking, but gunning down and murdering the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. That happened a year ago today. Today is the 1-year anniversary. What is going on in New York City, which started on Monday, is a pretrial hearing. His lawyers are in court, and this is pretty much standard operating procedure for any court case, especially a big one, and especially a murder case. His lawyers are in court, and what they're trying to do is have some of the evidence that investigators have gathered since he was arrested a year ago, and have that evidence thrown out. They do not want it allowed and presented when his trial eventually begins. So that's what they're arguing. It started on Monday. They are in court again today. And my colleague Lisa Evers is outside the courthouse there, and she's going to be, hey Lisa, thanks so much. So you're outside criminal court there in Lower Manhattan. Our colleague Michelle Ross has been covering this on the inside. She's inside the courtroom and she's communicating what's going on inside the courtroom. But do me a favor, Lisa, bring us up to speed right now about what's happening so far today.
Well, Linda, so far today, this is day 3 of this pretrial hearing. There was no court yesterday. Luigi Mangione sat at the defense table with a little bit less clean shaven than he was earlier in the week, paying close attention to everything that was going on. There was more testimony from Pennsylvania police officers. This is all around the time of that arrest in Altoona, Pennsylvania, because what happened there is key to whether or not some of the very important evidence is going to be brought in. And Linda, we've just been joined by our colleague, Michelle Ross, who's been in the courtroom. Michelle, thanks so much for coming out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And it started off a little slow today. The body-worn camera footage that was played on Tuesday was replayed again today from a different perspective, but eventually it did get a little more interesting. We did actually see a ticket, a Greyhound bus ticket, purchased for December 4th, which is a year ago today,
right.
And the anniversary of Brian Thompson's killing. And the Greyhound ticket, the bus went from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh.
And then in terms of this whole issue, you were tweeting at MROS News about the body cam video that they were showing, like snippets of it. It was kind of hard to get like a chronology of it. Right. But what was this whole business about his mother?
Yeah, so we couldn't hear what the question that was being asked of his mom, but then when I guess they asked for spelling, and then the police officer said, "Is that your mother?" And he said yes, and then they asked for more information and like her address, for example, and he wasn't giving it. He kind of hesitated, and the police officer said, "You know, we need that information in case something happens to you, in case you die. We need to notify her." And then that's when he eventually gave the address. So we don't know what question it was that sparked that, but his mom did come up in this.
And then in terms of his demeanor today, how does it compare? Yesterday, on Tuesday, he looked really tired. Monday, he looked all chipper and clean shaven and ready to go. Was even smiling.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty neutral today. He's probably just, sick and tired of this for dragging on. And apparently we have maybe a total of 20 witnesses that are going to be heard at the stand. So I think it's just waiting for this to pass on. He was actually really engaged in writing down notes and looking at the body-worn camera footage.
All right. And we spoke with Seth Zuckerman, who's a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney. He said that this number of witnesses is very unusual for a pretrial hearing.
Right. It almost feels like it's the actual trial. So who knows how long this is going to take. I initially heard 5 to 7 days, but it feels like it's going to take longer than that, especially if it's going to take one person per day, as it has been yesterday and today.
Which is crazy.
Absolutely.
Crazy. And then in terms of in the courtroom, tell us about that. Were there any supporters in there for him today? Or?
Yeah, I would say there were actually maybe more supporters than press there today. Today there were a couple of rows open for press. The first day is always the busiest, as you know, but I would say that there were more supporters than press.
Okay. Let me ask Linda. Linda, do you have any questions?
Is Michelle able to hear me, or do I need to tell you and you have to tell her?
No. Tell me right now, because she literally just ran out of court. We didn't have time to conference her in.
All right. Yeah, they broke for lunch apparently. Okay. Ask her, how many witnesses have taken the stand so far? Because this is day 3. Like you said, they weren't in court yesterday. How many have taken the stand so far, and how many more are we expecting?
Okay, so Linda's question is about the witnesses. So it looks like about 3 so far, like 1 a day, right, that we've had?
Well, the first
there
day
were a couple, right?
Yeah, the first day went by pretty fast. There were 5 on the first day, but Tuesday there was 1. It was just this Officer DeWeiler. And then today is another officer from Altoona, both of them from Altoona. So we're hoping that after lunch that it's a new person, but there still hasn't been cross-examination.
And then is there any way of knowing at this point how many witnesses there will be, or is this kind of like it's like some of the trials are rolling? It's a flux of, or what do you call it, a moving situation?
Well, in the motion that was filed by the defense, it was probably just 7 on the prosecution side and then 2 on the defense side. But, some rumblings, us reporters, we talk up there. One person heard it was over 20, as high as 28. So, yeah, we'll see. It feels like an actual trial that's happening, going so slow, but hopefully it's not that high.
No, that's crazy. And Linda, the Seth Zuckerman, the attorney we spoke with at noon, he said that usually these pretrial hearings take a couple of days, and that's it. at maximum, and that but he thinks because of all the scrutiny that's going to be on this, and Luigi Mangione, we saw earlier in the week Mark Agnifilo, who was Diddy's attorney, was in the courtroom. Was he there today?
Yeah, he's there. He's not the lead attorney. Karen is.
Right, his wife.
Yeah.
Karen Friedman.
Exactly, but he did do cross-examination for one of the corrections officers that were assigned to monitoring Luigi Mangione, and he did a good job during that part. So he's not the lead attorney, but he still has a good hand in this.
And he's there so far in court, like every single day.
Exactly, and so is Jacob Kaplan, another defense attorney on the team, and also I didn't see today, but Tuesday and Monday, Thomas Dickey, who is Luigi Mangione's lawyer in Pennsylvania.
Right, the one that was the very colorful one.
Right, very animated one. Yeah.
From Pennsylvania, because he came out and he was making some statements.
Right. He's like a big shot lawyer back there in Altoona.
And he was making the whole thing. So the other issue is how much if this backpack evidence, if the backpack is ruled inadmissible, then how much damage could that do to the case? The lawyer we spoke with, Seth Zuckerman, said it's not going to kill the prosecution's case, but it's going to be, I shouldn't use that word, but it's not going to be like a fatal blow to the prosecution's case, but it's going to hurt them a lot not to have that.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a win for the defense because just even watching the body-worn camera footage, there's so much information in there and a lot that they unpack physically and figuratively. They literally unpack in the body-worn camera footage. You hear an officer say there's a gun in here. So, it's alleged that is the murder weapon. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Definitely. Linda, back to you.
Was that 3D gun. So this was a gun that he allegedly made, and that's the gun that he used as the murder weapon. Also his reported manifesto, which was quite lengthy. So they were both in that backpack. And if that evidence is thrown out, you've been talking to lawyers this week, what would that actually do to their case? It almost seems like you just said a moment ago that it would be a major blow because you've got the weapon and you've got the manifesto basically saying the reason that he ended up killing the CEO of United Healthcare.
Well, remember, they're also going to have, yes, it would be a major blow for the prosecution, but they're also going to have ballistics. They're going to have the bullet. They're going to be, the NYPD has, I've been in that crime lab where they analyze bullets. They have a tremendous ability to trace bullets, track bullets. They can tell from markings on bullets what kind of gun they were used. And some of these 3D guns have made their way around. It's not just somebody, it's not like it sounds like a disposable gun, but sometimes they get made and then they're used in other crimes. They also are going to have a lot of video surveillance for him too, in terms of putting things together and like a link analysis of what's going on. So Linda's question was about the evidence.
Yeah, and on the ballistics, it's also alleged that it was written deny, depose, delay. These are words that are commonly used apparently in the healthcare industry to delay claims, to not reimburse patients. So yeah, but as far as looking at the ballistics, you're 100% correct.
But Linda, it will be a blow for the prosecution because they also the DA was quoted in one article I read talking about that there was the detailed plan of how he was going to get to the CEO was also in that notebook with what they're calling the manifesto.
So it was a timeline,
there's a lot there, but,
of what he wanted to do.
Yes, but they'll have it. Remember, they're going to have a timeline. Even though he was very good at concealing his movements, they're going to have a timeline of him, of his movements, of the actions, of where they're going to be able to pinpoint a lot more than what I think we know at this point.
Well, you know what's interesting
Linda?
too? There's a lot of surveillance video and pictures when, and again, it's alleged to be him, Luigi Mangione, inside the cab. Remember that surveillance picture which showed he had a black mask on, but you could clearly see that he's got the dark hair and the big bushy dark eyebrows. So there's that surveillance video, and they can also track the time that he was in that. There was also, and didn't he jump on a bike and drive, ride that bike way up north? Wouldn't there be video of that? Yeah, an e-bike. And then he ended up getting on a bus way up in Upper Manhattan, and that's the bus that he ended up taking to. Did he go to Pennsylvania right away? Because they also have surveillance video of him, I think, on multiple buses going to multiple locations.
Okay, so Linda's talking about the timeline, which is kind of on the it's kind of we're kind of doing this on the fly because he does allegedly does the shooting. He jumps on the e-bike, then he's in a cab,
Right.
and then there's the hostel, right? Is that the next thing, the Upper West
Well, I
Side?
don't know if he
What do you think?
returned yet to the hostel. So after he
Or the-
gets in the cab, I know that he left the hostel obviously in the morning, allegedly to get down to the Hilton Hotel. But when he leaves, it's unclear what happens after he gets out of
Right.
the cab. Yeah, and then but as far as the timeline, they did show today in court a Greyhound bus ticket dated for December 4th. And it says on it 10 p.m. to leave Philly, arrival in Pittsburgh at 11:55.
So that was the other thing too. He didn't just go from Linda. This was the other thing that was interesting too. He didn't just go from New York straight to Altoona across the
Right.
George Washington Bridge and go there. He went to Philly and then from Philly to Altoona,
Yeah,
right?
apparently that's I think what's trying to be introduced now. And then in addition to that Greyhound ticket, there was also another ticket that said SEPTA key on it, and I think the SEPTA is in
there?
Philly,
That's their transit mass
in
transit
Philly,
system.
right? And
Yeah.
it said on it, it had the date 12/4, December 4th, 1:06 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that may have been the receipt at 1:06. That's when he purchased the Greyhound ticket, or SEPTA, got on the SEPTA at 1:06, and then eventually got to the Greyhound station in Philly for a 10 p.m. Leaving time, departure time.
Exactly. And Linda, remember too that part of Midtown Manhattan too. There's a ton of cameras all the way up.
Right.
Oh,
Going
everywhere.
through Columbus Circle, around the West Side there, everywhere. So I'm sure the investigators have a lot more evidence like that we haven't seen yet.
Right. And you know what's hard to believe, guys, is that this is actually the 1-year anniversary. We have been reporting on this story. It was a year ago today that CEO was gunned down.
Yes, and this today being a year to the day
Right.
of when this all happened.
Right, and it's crazy to think that it's already been 1 year, and how much information we still don't really know, and how slow this process is. But it's just reflective, I think, of the American justice system. So
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Plus he has all these cases. You know, he has the Pennsylvania case, which
Right.
kind of on the back burner. The feds are there. You know,
right.
ready to
But
go.
I think this will be
First.
the first.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly. And maybe in the spring, if I could take my best guess, but that's we'll know at the end of this hearing.
Yeah.
We'll get a date. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Probably
going
get a date. Who knows?
Yeah, Lisa, I was just going to ask you guys about that. If we have any idea of when the trial is scheduled to begin, because I mean, if it turns out that what Michelle is hearing, that there could be as many as 20 or 28 witnesses in total, this pretrial hearing could be going on for 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Right. And then you run into the holiday. There's going to be a holiday break.
Right.
You know, and then over New
Yeah.
Year's, and then there's the holidays where the courts close.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they have to deal with the judge's schedule. Will it be a different judge? Will it be this judge? There's a lot of question marks, but we're following it very closely. Michelle's been doing an amazing job inside the courtroom, giving us the information, and we'll keep getting it out as much as is available.
Okay.
Linda?
Hey, guys, thanks so much. Lisa Evers, Michelle Ross. I know Michelle's got to get back into court. They're on a lunch break until 2 o'clock. But thank you guys both so much for bringing us up to date on this really important story. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So for now, folks, we are going to take a quick break. And on the other side, we will be talking about a lot more news. Stay with us. And welcome back to Newsroom Live, everyone. I'm Linda Schmidt. We are live for you here today in the Fox 5 Newsroom on the Upper East Side, where we are going to be with you every day, multiple times. And you can see us on the Fox Local app as well as the Fox 5 YouTube channel. Joining me right now, Liv Johnson. She's going to be here to talk to us about the weather because it's so cold. It is cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, when I was walking to work today, you know, all bundled up, got the hood on, it wasn't as windy as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, but it is windy.
Yeah?
You were lucky. You must have gone in a little period where it wasn't blowing too hard, but that's the only thing really we have going on today, other than the fact that it's freezing.
Right.
It's also very windy.
Okay.
So, yeah, we don't have any, I mean, there was actually some flurries up north earlier today, but nothing that really accumulated or stuck. But, I mean, look at tomorrow. So if you think today is cold, tomorrow, a high of 31.
Oh, no.
And that means basically the entire day will feel like the 20s,
It's just going to be brutal.
Mid to low 20s. It's going to be really brutal. It won't be as windy tomorrow, so that's the good news.
What's the norm
we'll
for
be
this
cold
time
enough.
of year, though? Are these normal temperatures for
no,
this time of
we've
year?
been trending below average. Usually we're in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember
we've
it,
been
it
below
being
average.
this cold. Well, I don't know. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, last year was brutal.
Was it? I don't even remember.
The winter was, I remember because as a reporter, you're working outside and you have to take off your gloves in order to use your cell phone when you're working outside.
Yeah.
So, and you're constantly taking off your gloves. So my hands
go numb.
I mean, they're just numb, and then your nails start breaking and your skin starts splitting because your skin is exposed to the brutal
Well, even
cold.
yesterday, I was getting MOS. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means man on the street. So we just have to stand out there like we're selling something and try to get people to talk to us. Usually it's no. But I was out there, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, felt like a lifetime. And my hands went numb. So then my photographer went, got a hand warmer for me. Then my toes went numb. And that's when I was like, we're actually cutting this. Like, I'm going to go inside.
Right.
So yes, tomorrow's going to be a bad day to report outside or do really anything outside. It's going to be below freezing. I mean, if you're up in like Monticello, Poughkeepsie, you're going to wake up with temperatures in the single digits tomorrow.
Oh
I'm talking like 3 degrees, 5 degrees.
Wow.
So yeah, really cold, dry. Then Friday we have a chance of seeing some more flurries, probably to the south. It's more like the coastal areas, Long Island, New Jersey, because it's a system that's approaching us from the south.
Along the water?
Yeah, it's a really light chance. I do think we'll probably get a little bit of rain on Long Island early Saturday morning, but nothing crazy. I mean, whether you see precipitation in the form of rain or snow, it's going to be very minimal, and most of us will be dry for the rest of the weekend.
Okay. You know, Liv was just talking about something that we do as reporters, and she said MOS, which is man on the street, and it is when we literally go out with our camera crew and we're standing on the street, and whatever topic our story is for that day, whether it's about weather or, I mean, just any topic, and we try and stop people as they're walking by to get them to talk to us, and then we put that together as part of our news stories because we want to get input from the public, and we do this a lot. Now, on a beautiful summer day, it's no problem. People stop, they have time, people are smiling, they're happy. When it's cold, snowing, or raining, nobody wants to stop and talk to you, especially in the rain. They're miserable.
Right. And I mean, New Yorkers are usually already in a rush somewhere anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, we have a lot of factors against us.
Right. But it can be a fun thing to do, though. Like when the weather is nice or you're doing a fun, like, holiday story.
Yes.
And, you know, in New York, you do meet a lot of characters. So you can end up with some really funny interviews.
Oh, I got a good woman yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
She was great.
All right, tell me about
My
it.
question was, it was about AI, just in general wanting to know if people use it and what they use it for. Because I just did a story about holiday shopping. And one woman came up to me and started talking to me, a thick New York accent.
Yeah.
And she was like, I get my nails done and I get my hair done. What do I need AI for? She doesn't even use a computer. She was like, I have my husband. Why do I need a computer?
I have my husband and I get my nails done. I get my hair done. I need nothing else.
Yeah, she doesn't need AI. Yeah, she was. I can't wait to cut up her sound bites.
Wait a second. What age? What age group would you say?
80s.
Oh,
I would say she's in her 80s.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's so cute.
But she came up and she was like, I always watch you guys.
Oh,
so
very sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
that's
came
so
to me,
nice.
which was nice.
Very nice. Well, there's something else I want to talk to you about. I don't know if any of you folks have heard of this before, but there's something that is called the Pantone Color Institute. And they are considered a leading authority on color and forecasting trends. So every year they come out with a color of the year. So they've already come out with the color for 2026. And the color for 2026, I was actually surprised by this. I don't know if you are going to be, but it's a shade of white. That is going to be the color of the year. I thought it was going to be burgundy. I mean, you've got kind of a purple eggplant on today, but burgundy is such a hot color.
Well,
I
so
thought
are
that
they
was gonna
going
be
for
it.
like what people are wearing or what people are using for their homes, or?
I think they
I mean, they're
they
showing
take
fashion
into
right
I
now.
think they take into account everything. And the shade of white that they're talking about is called Cloud Dancer. And what it's supposed to do is bring you a sense of calm. So in the erratic, chaotic world that we are living in now, you know, so many people are experiencing high anxiety among a lot of people, and then social media just exacerbates that situation. They're saying this particular color here, and you see the clouds in the background, so that, you know, they're including that. They're saying that this just brings a sense of calm looking at this color. And again, it's not a bright white.
Yeah, it's a nice white.
It is nice. It kind of reminds me of what we've always called well, I was going to say winter white, but winter white tends to be a little bit darker. Tends to be more yellowy.
I would say I definitely noticed it for design and homes. Like people's interiors are a lot whiter than they used. They're painting the outside white. They're making their kitchen granite white with black accents. So I definitely see even like parents having birthday parties for their little babies. I feel like it used to be really colorful.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of more white.
You're seeing more white for the babies?
Yeah.
Wow, see, now that's surprising.
It's more
because
aesthetically
babies,
pleasing.
It's to us.
Right,
I
exactly,
think it's
but not for
aesthetically,
babies.
but not for babies. And babies, you know, children are sloppy and they get food and whatever all over the place. Using white isn't really the
I know, but I don't
color.
really wear white a lot.
During the summer, I do. I wear a lot of white and black.
Well,
I mean, it's very New York.
Right.
Black, white and black during the summer. Yeah.
I have always been told, like in the studio, white is usually not the greatest color.
Right.
A lot of my clothes I get that I could wear for work or outside.
Oh, okay.
So I don't
you
wear,
don't buy.
or I just think of it as like bridal, like getting married.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's my age. So many people are getting married.
Yes.
But
yeah.
I don't
Interesting.
know. I noticed a lot of people wearing brown this year.
Chocolate brown.
Yeah. That was a big color.
I love chocolate brown. And it's so funny with these colors too and what's popular. They go out of style and then they're out of style for a few years and then a few years later they're hot again. You know, so it's just like this cyclical.
Like bell-bottom jeans and stuff.
Yes.
You know, it just, the trends go in and out. But
you know what's, let me tell you this. Now, I don't want to date myself, but when I was a kid, that's when bell-bottoms were really, really, really popular. And we actually had these things called elephant bell-bottoms, where they were tight here, around your hips and around your thighs, and then out at your knees, they went out to these monster-sized bell-bottoms. I mean, it's a miracle.
To look like elephants.
Yes, to look like elephants. And it's a miracle that we didn't kill ourselves walking around. Now, this is when I was a kid, not the brightest thing to, you know, for a child or for a parent to be buying their child, but they were very popular.
That's
and
funny.
then bell-bottoms went out of style.
Right.
And it was, you know, the straight leg and the boot cut, and then the bell-bottoms came back into style like a year or two ago, and now they're really hot again.
Right. And hairstyles too. Yeah. They go in and out.
Yep, everything. Well, listen, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Bottom line, Liv is telling us it's going to be bitter cold.
Bundle up.
Yeah.
Bundle up. Get your hand warmers. And if you see us on the street asking for an interview, do us a favor.
Talk to Liv.
Talk to
if
us.
you see us, because sometimes we're so desperate for people to talk to us, please talk to us.
We're not asking you hard questions even. Just hang out with us for a second.
All right, thanks, Liv.
Of course.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. It's so funny, too, because And welcome back to Newsroom Live, everyone. You're looking at a live shot right now. One of our teams here at Fox 5 News, they are out on the streets of New York today, going around to all the holiday festivities, looking at the sights around the city. And right now, what you're looking at is the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. They had the official lighting last night. It happened just before 10 o'clock last night. And you know, hundreds of thousands, probably even millions of people come to the city over the holiday. It is millions, come to the city during the holiday season here. And one of the big stops is right here to see this absolutely gorgeous tree. And it's right there at Rockefeller Center. They have that fabulous ice skating rink that's right there, as well as multiple restaurants. And the food, let me tell you, I've been to both of the restaurants that are there, and the food is fabulous. I've taken my family there many times throughout my time here in New York. But I want to go ahead, we're just going to bring the sound up full here to see if we can hear any chatter going on. My mic is up? Okay, yeah, and you can just see the twinkles coming off the tree right there. 50,000 lights they have on that tree. It's a 75-foot Norway spruce, and it was donated by a family way upstate in New York. And on the top of it is the Swarovski crystal. I mean, it's just spectacular. Every year, they always do a fabulous job. So much fun. So if you're coming into the city, make sure you make that a stop. All right, now we're going to turn our attention to some serious news going on here in the city and also nationwide as well. I'm about to bring you up to speed here on that NYU student, the female student that was assaulted in the middle of the day. She was just walking down the sidewalk, and a man came up to her and he smacked her on the behind and then shoved her down. This is developing news. This is the man right here, 45-year-old James Rizzo. He has been charged now, and he was arraigned late last night on charges of persistent sexual abuse, and this is the assault happening right here. Persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault. Now the attack, as you can see, it was caught on a surveillance camera, and since that time has gone viral. This is the woman that was assaulted, and she posted on social media after this happened. That's how everybody ended up knowing about this. Now the NYPD says that Rizzo came up behind her on Monday morning in Greenwich Village, slapped her head and her behind, pulled her hair, and then threw her to the ground. Police say that he is a serial offender, and he was out on parole from state prison. He was out on parole from state prison on sex abuse charges. He is now being held without bail. So this is somebody who has a long rap sheet. He allegedly has done this multiple times. Law enforcement telling us that he had at least 16 prior arrests. And this is something that is not new to anybody who lives and works in New York City. We hear about these stories all the time, where somebody gets arrested for something and then they've had 10 prior arrests, 20 prior arrests, 40 prior arrests, 50 prior arrests. So that's one of the things that people in the legal community, as well as law enforcement, that they complain about all the time, that there is this revolving door of justice and criminals. Criminals that get arrested, they go into the system, a revolving door, and they're back out on the street again. And apparently, and allegedly, this is one of those people. Something else we're talking about today, the health. And this is important for everybody to know here. The flu is apparently spreading rapidly across the country. Now, a new CDC data shows a 5% increase in just the last week alone, with a few places even experiencing an even bigger increase, including right here in New York City, which the CDC says now has, quote, moderate flu activities. Now, most states are experiencing what they are calling low or minimal flu activity, but recent data is still trending upward. And again, here in New York City, we are seeing an even bigger increase than 5%. And 5% is considered to be the biggest in other places in the country. Doctors are urging people to get out, get that flu shot if you can, and to stay home if you are sick. Also wear a mask so that you're not spreading the flu or any other germs and getting other people sick, especially if you're going to work. Another thing here, a major recall. If you love Ritz crackers, listen up. Cases of the popular snack food are being recalled due to incorrect labeling. Now, they are labeled as cheese, but instead, and this is really important, they contain peanut butter. So anybody that has a peanut butter allergy could be at risk here of having going into anaphylactic shock. So this is really important. So again, they are labeled as cheese, but instead they contain peanut butter. And of course, as I just said, people with peanut allergies could suffer life-threatening or serious allergic reactions, that's anaphylactic shock, by eating the products. The affected Ritz sandwiches were sold in stores in, and listen up here, in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, so right now we're tri-state area here, including PA, and 5 other states. They have, quote, best when used by dates from January 8th and January 15th of 2026. Again, on the boxes, it will say best when used by, and the dates are January 8th and January 15th. Wow, that's something scary there. One of my nephews has a severe peanut allergy, so we've been dealing with that since he was a little boy. Now he's around 30 years old, but it's something that we're all very conscientious about and very hyper aware about. Now we're going to move on to what's going on with the CDC. Let's go to ELC 5 here. Tell you what's going on there. The CDC advisors are meeting right now. They started meeting early this morning, and they're going to be weighing in on major changes to child vaccination schedules for hepatitis B. What they want to do here is they want to revise the timing of the hepatitis B vaccine. Now, the reason that that's black right there is because I guess the person, Grant Paulson, might be doing a Zoom from home and doesn't want his picture on, so that's why it's black. But there are a lot of people inside that room for that meeting right now. Let's go ahead, let's show the video of infants, because that's what we're talking about here. What they want to do is they want to change the scheduling of when children infants receive their vaccines for hepatitis B. Now, normally they get those vaccines within 24 hours of birth. And apparently, the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he wants to change that. Now, as you know, he is a longtime anti-vaccine activist. And this is something that was very controversial as well. It happened where there were 17 members, and this is the CDC's Independent Vaccine Advisory Panel. And they advised the CDC on things like vaccines and other issues. Well, it was earlier this year that JFK Jr. just abruptly fired the 17 sitting members, and then he replaced all 17 with people that he handpicked. Most of those, if not all of those that he handpicked, are also skeptics of vaccines, which sent a shockwave for many people across this country. Because apparently what the belief here is that they want to continue to cut into the number of vaccines and the type of vaccines that children get, as well as adults. All right, we got some breaking news right now. Let's go to ELC 2. The FBI is holding an update right now regarding a pipe bomb, or what was likely a pipe bomb, in January 6th of 2021.
Came to the FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust. We hope that today is a significant step towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. The nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight, when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process. As we have committed under this Attorney General, we are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history, but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent. And that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible, while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve, and most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country, to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods, and that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital, and they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington field office, and I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort. The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere
All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live, everybody. Now, we just had a technical issue there where there was a news conference that was being held by U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and also Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for D.C. And it suddenly went black, and then we went to a news break. So they are continuing that news conference right now. What they are talking about is that there has been an arrest, and I want to show this video first, if we can, Suzanne. That activity that is outside a building in Virginia, where a suspect a man is now under arrest. U.S. Authorities saying that this is the person who likely was building pipe bombs. There were pipe bombs that were found outside the DNC and the RNC headquarters in D.C. on January 5th of 2021. That was one day before the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. So this investigation has been underway since that time. And the FBI, the U.S. Attorney General, and Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., announcing that a suspect is now in custody. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to that news conference right now and listen in.
But not the FBI and not our partners. We do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent. Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team continued to churn through massive amounts of data and tips that we used to identify this suspect. I want to thank Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino for their leadership and for providing us the resources and the personnel to reevaluate all of the data that we had. We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, thank you for your support, thank you for your passion, and thank you for your investment in this investigation. From me, on behalf of the investigators, the Washington Field Office, and all of our partners, thank you. I'd also like to thank Judge Pirro. Judge, your team and you are absolutely amazing. You're the type of prosecutors and U.S. Attorney that all of the investigators across the country want to work with. They're hard-nosed and they're aggressive, and thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the American public for providing tips and leads, not just on this case, but every day on cases across the country that are being solved by law enforcement. And finally, I want to commend all of the members of the Washington Field Office, and most specifically, the investigative team. Their diligence and persistence led to this arrest today, and they are absolutely, totally dedicated not only to this case, but every case they work. So thank you, Washington Field Office. Last, I will say our work is not done. The FBI will continue to pursue every lead and use every resource that we have to ensure that the D.C. pipe bomber is brought to justice. Thank you.
You keep hearing the words partnership and team, and that's what we are. And we could not do this without our U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro. Jeanine, from day one, has worked tirelessly for our country and for our nation's capital. It's my honor to introduce my friend, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. And you have been listening to a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitude. The reason that we're thanking each other to the extent that we are today is because we have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are incredible, and this case is big. 4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. You know, folks, this case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack. So much of this evidence was very specific, but a lot of it was also very general. For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect. And make no mistake, it was this administration, it was this president who made the decision that we were going to use all of our efforts to get it done, and get it done they did. Finally, let me say this. Today begins the formal process of accountability, where this defendant will begin his journey through the criminal justice system. And I pledge to you that the United States Attorney's Office will take this case across the finish line. Again, thank you to the incredible work of the FBI, to the Attorney General, and to our local partners as well. This is a job that I think was well done.
Thank you. President Trump's directive to all of us was to not only make America safe again, but D.C., and to make it safe and beautiful. We could not have done that without our partnership with Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith. It is my honor to introduce Metropolitan Police Department Chief Smith.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. I am Chief Pamela Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, and FBI Director Patel for having me here today. For nearly 5 years, the agencies standing here today have worked together under the leadership of the FBI to locate our suspect who is responsible for the 2 pipe bombs that were placed around our city. MPD members assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force have supported this case from the beginning. That supports include looking, reviewing, and going through countless, probably thousands of hours of CCTV footage from around the DNC and RNC headquarters, and they followed up on hundreds and thousands of leads from members of our communities. What I will say today is that Washingtonians can rest easier today knowing that the suspect responsible for this act is now in custody. This morning's arrest is yet another reminder that committing any act with the intention of harming the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia will result in your arrest. The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Capitol Police, and certainly the prosecutors at our U.S. Attorney's Office will go to the furthest length. I heard somebody say to the end of the earth, but thank God we didn't have to go to the end of the earth today, that we were able to bring this subject into custody. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of the agencies who are standing behind me today on a job well done. I will turn it over now to Attorney General Bondi.
We're going to take some questions. Just remember, as I said in the beginning, this is ongoing. It's very active. The search warrants are still being executed. Many charges potentially to come. So just keep that in mind when asking your questions.
Jake, Fox News. So you said it had been nearly 5 years, we all know that, and that you said there have been no new evidence. So can you say anything about the evidence that actually did lead to this arrest? And then secondarily, you're talking about additional charges possibly. Can you say what those you might be considering, or terrorism charges, or what?
We can't discuss new charges, of course, yet, ongoing. But what I will say is this is why this was so incredibly important, more than any other case, is this is in our nation's capital where this happened. And now, thanks to the FBI, we know that this defendant was living just miles away from here in Virginia. So as to the evidence in the case, I'm going to let Director Patel take that, but it's still very active and very ongoing.
Thank you, General. And as I stated earlier, and as the General has already reiterated, our job is to provide full accountability in the court of law with Judge Pirro's team. And in order to do that, we have to preserve the chain of custody and evidentiary value. What I will say generally is that when you go through 3 million lines of information, y'all can think about the amount of cell phone data that has to be ingested and triangulated and dumped and received. You also have to think of just sheer human ingenuity. We brought in a team of experts who are the best at what they do in their specific fields to reevaluate that evidence, to dive back in, and to not come back with a no for an answer until they had found the suspect. And when you develop evidence, you get a search warrant. And when you get a search warrant, you get an address. And when you get an address, you hit the house. And that's what we did.
Sadie, Wall Street Journal.
Hi there. So what can you tell us about this person's motivations and whether they were driven by politics or for any other reason why?
Right now it's ongoing. Again, we just executed the search warrant early this morning. It's ongoing. But America's safer, DC's safer because he's in custody.
Mary Margaret, Daily Wire.
Thank you so much. So any theory on why Kamala Harris has never mentioned coming within 20 feet of being assassinated, and any news on why her Secret Service team took so long to find this bomb at the DNC?
No, but what I will tell you is that evidence has been sitting there collecting dust. This wasn't a new tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration.
Let's go ahead. I need you to turn that audio down in my ear because I'm listening. There we go. What you're watching right now is a news conference with U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. She's speaking right now. FBI Director Kash Patel also speaking there, as well as Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., announcing that a man in Virginia is now under arrest. FBI agents are outside his home, what appears to be his home in Virginia right now. He has been arrested after a pipe bomb back in 2021. 10 seconds. 2021 was found near the DNC.
Thanks for watching Vox